In this video, we will see how you can apply the best NVIDIA control panel settings for Media Encoder 2025. So first of all, you need to navigate to the search bar of your Windows and you need to search for NVIDIA. Once you type NVIDIA, you will see the NVIDIA app. We need to navigate right inside the NVIDIA app. Once you're right inside the NVIDIA app, you need to navigate to the drivers in the left navigation of the NVIDIA app, and you need to make sure you have the Studio Driver installed on your PC. You can see two options here. This is the Game Ready driver and this is the Studio Driver. We need to proceed with the Studio Driver because it provides the best experience for the creative apps, which includes the media encoder. But if this Studio Driver does not exist, you can go with the Game Ready driver, that's fine. Next, you need to go to the graphics in the left navigation and you need to click on this drop down and you need to search for add a program. Once you're right inside, you will need to navigate to the path where your Adobe media encoder is located. For example, in this case, you can go to locality C, program files, Adobe Media Encoder 2025, and you need to find the application file. This is the exe file. You need to double click on this and it will be loaded into the programs to customize. Once you're right inside, you need to apply the best NVIDIA control panel settings for Media Encoder. So first of all, this is the driver settings, and you can ignore the RTX dynamic vibrance. This is not related to the functionality. You can also ignore the RTX HDR. For the CUDA GPUs, this is very important. You need to go and select to use these GPUs and you need to make sure you select your graphics card. So once you're done, you can click on apply. For DLSS, you can ignore all these settings and you can also ignore DSR factors and smooth motions. We don't need this. You can also ignore low latency mode. For the image scaling, as the images are not part of our Adobe Media Encoder, we will go with off. This is by default. For the max frame rate, you can go with on and keep it at its maximum. It doesn't matter, but you can keep it at maximum. You can ignore the multi-technology. For the OpenGL GDA compatibility, this is very important. For the OpenGL GDA compatibility, this is very important. You need to click on this and you need to select preferred performance if you want the maximum performance from the Adobe Media Encoder. And for the Vulkan OpenGL preset method, you need to go with preferred layered on DXGI swap chain. For the power management mode, we want the maximum power, so we will prefer the maximum performance. You can ignore the vertical sync and virtual reality is not the part of this. You can click on show legacy settings. For the anisotropic filtering, you can go with 2x, that's fine. For the anti-aliasing FXAA, you can go with on. For the transparency, you can go with multi-sampled, but if it lags or your encoder does not work properly, you can go with off, but I recommend to go with multi-sample. For the max frame rate, again, it doesn't matter, but you can keep it at its maximum. For the multi-frame sampled AAMFAA, you can go with on. For the anisotropic sample optimization, this is very important. For the texture filtering, you can go with on. And for the negative LOD bias, you can also go with a clamp, that's fine. For the texture filtering, you can go with the high performance. And for the trilinear optimization, you can go with on. So these are the settings that you need to apply for the NVIDIA app. Now let us go right inside the Adobe Media Encoder to apply the best settings. Alright fellas, so once you're right inside the Adobe Media Encoder, you can go to the edit in the left navigation of the Adobe Media Encoder and you need to click on preferences. First of all, while you are in the preferences, you need to navigate to general and make sure your video rendering is selected as Mercury GPU acceleration CUDA. Next, you need to go to the media and make sure H264 for the hardware encoding and the hardware accelerated decoding. Both of these are marked as tick, and this NVIDIA is also marked as tick if you have an NVIDIA GPU. Next, you need to go to the memory and make sure RAM reserve for other application is the minimum and the RAM reserve for or available for the media encoder is maximum, that is 13 GB. This is the best settings that you can apply for the media encoder to perform at its peak. So that's all. Hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a nice day.